My Little Pony Equestria girls and their desperate need for any designs other than... It's a topic that seems to be ever present here in the YouTube art space, at least on the side of it that I'm on. At this point, it's been over a year since I first redesigned them, in a desperate attempt to please the almighty algorithm. And please the algorithm it did, so here I am again, but this time with a little more effort and a little more intention than before. This is going to be part 1 of 2 because I ended up spending way more time on this than I thought that I would. That aside, let's get into it. This time around, I actually took the time to watch the movie, the first one, and only the first one, so that's solely what I'm going off of for this video. The speed paint you're seeing right now is Rainbow Dash, which I'll get a little more into that in a second. I had 3 goals in mind for this video. 1, redesign the main 6 and Sunset Shimmer. 2, reimagine the storyline. And 3, discuss the movie. So immediately after watching the movie, I thought it would be fun to reimagine them more like superheroes. The elements of harmony, obviously. The majority of the movie is spent on Twilight reuniting the main 6 because they had some kind of grudge with each other, dating all the way back to freshman year. They're seniors. And all of it was sorted out in like 10 minutes. You're telling me they never tried to come to an understanding that whole time? Never talked to each other? Like, not even once? Anyway, by the end of the movie, they have a fight, but it's barely even a fight, with Sunset Shimmer when she gets a hold of Twilight's crown and turns into this imp thing. So in my reimagining of the movie, the plot would focus a lot more on them slowly rebuilding their friendships with one another as they come together to save their world from Sunset Shimmer. Twilight would come to them and explain the danger that they're all in and use the fact that Spike could talk to prove that all of it was true and she wasn't crazy. Instead of having this world be void of magic, it would play out with them starting to show signs of magic when they're all acting in harmony. Even in the movie, the crown still works in their world, and Spike could still talk there, so I don't think it's really implausible that they would have their own elements of harmony. Also, just as an aside, I find it funny that this world's equivalent of Canterlot is a high school, and that the queen is the principal, because I feel oddly like that implies that this world is really small. Because something that is a literal kingdom in one world is just a school in this world. Anyway, I'd put a lot of emphasis on them coming back together with a little more hardship. Because in reality, friendships can be hard, and I think it would be more impactful if Twilight had a harder time reuniting them and really showed that they have to put work into their friendships with each other to save them. And I think it would drive the point home that friendship and harmony are stronger than the rifts between them, despite those rifts being significant. When they finally start to act in harmony again, with Twilight now joining them, they would eventually awaken this world's elements of harmony, triggering a magical girl-esque transformation. Then, together, they would have what they need to go against Sunset Shimmer and save their world. Now that I've set up that premise, I'll get into talking about this Rainbow Dash design. I did 2 designs for each character, their everyday school outfit and their transformation outfit. I put a lot of focus on trying to make them look like they were actually high schoolers, but not necessarily average looking. I wanted their individuality to shine through because I think in a school setting, they're all kind of oddballs in their own ways, and they're supposed to be evidence that friendship can bloom even among a group of super different individuals. Dash is obsessed with sports and coming out on top, so much so that she's literally captain of every single sports team. Not possible, by the way, unless she's got some kind of Hermione's time turner thing going on. At this point, I'm starting to sound like Athena P over here, applying way too much real-world logic to a kid's movie. As you can see in my old design, I really just drew a humanized Rainbow Dash in athletic wear. And another thing that bothers me though, what are they even? Are they human? In this world, humans are just weird colors, or are they something else? Like, I know the answer is fun colors look better on dolls, but that answer does not satisfy me. So one really funny thing that seems to be generally agreed upon is that if Rainbow Dash dressed herself, she would dress a lot like Adam Sandler, so I tried to give her a very Adam Sandler-esque fit. Gave her a jersey, an oversized button-up, and some basketball shorts that don't really match. I just think that that's probably how she would dress if she was a regular average high schooler, which is what I was going for. And then for the superhero designs, I was obviously trying to mimic like a superhero suit kind of look, but still make it look like magical and cutesy, because this is still Equestria girls, you know. I lengthened the hair for the magical design. I just think it's fitting for a transformation like this that they would just magically get long hair. I mean, they're magically getting a tail and ears, so why not long hair? Now for Rarity, I want to start by talking a little bit about her movie design and my design from the previous videos. I actually don't think that her Equestria Girls design is that bad. It feels like it makes more sense for her character than the other outfits do for their characters. It's still a little bit boring for Rarity, but it makes sense with the animation restrictions in mind. As for my old design, I ended up sticking pretty close to it, at least in terms of what I was aiming for. Rarity has a more mature vibe, and she's a fashion designer, so I think she would want to look put together, but still glamorous. In the beginning of this movie, Equestria's Rarity literally has multiple lines about how if she had a crown like Twilight's, that she would never take it off, so I don't think it's too crazy that Canterlot High Rarity would proudly walk around the school in diamonds and gold, with her hair done up like she's about to have a photo shoot. The hair was actually something that I felt I underdid with the last design, so I really wanted to give her that luscious, blown out look with her hair this time around. As well as with her makeup, I tried to give her a more bold and fun eyeshadow look in this new design. It's still pretty simple, but as far as my drawings go, it's pretty bold. I don't usually draw people with makeup, at least not visible eyeshadow. For Rarity's hero design, I wanted to keep it practical and easy to move in, but still give her something pretty that felt like her. So I added this sort of open skirt. I'm not really sure what you would call that, as well as a little matching fabric over the shoulders just to tie it together. As you can see, I kind of played around with some other things for the shoulders, but I ended up choosing the fabric. I also tried out some of Clip Studio Paint's pre-made chain brushes in this too. I think it turned out pretty good. I didn't really go back and clean them up, so that's why at the ends you can kind of see that it's with a pre-made brush. The only one I usually use as far as the shortcut brushes go is the dotted line. I usually use that for seams. I also used a couple of the shortcut brushes for the magic too, like the magic that's around the diamonds and around her horn. I actually had a really good time watching this movie, despite it being made for kids. I guess I just still like kids movies, and I could see it being really boring if you watched it a second time, but the first time that I watched it, I thought it was cute, I thought it was fun. The songs were actually pretty nice, I liked them. The intro remix of the opening song, banger. And there were actually a lot of funny moments in this movie, but mostly because they were so ridiculous. Like Twilight not knowing what to do in a human body, it's very funny because it makes sense. It would kind of be like body horror. Imagine if that was reversed. We're humans. If you just woke up in a horse body, you wouldn't really know what to do, especially if you didn't know what a horse was. She clearly didn't know what humans were. So yeah, that would actually be pretty horrific for them, for Twilight. There's a part where she's walking around on all fours and has Spike riding on her back, and a part where she picks books up with her mouth, just ridiculous stuff. And Sunset Shimmer literally makes a campaign smear video of her doing those kinds of ridiculous things because she doesn't want her to win the fall formal queen, or fall formal princess. Here's Rarity's finished design. I think this one was actually my favorite out of all three that I did this video. Moving on to Twilight. This design is of Equestria Twilight and not Twi. Twi isn't actually in this movie. As far as I know, she's mentioned, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, she didn't show up in the movie. In the last Equestria Girl redesign videos that I made, I didn't actually know that there were two different Twilights, because I didn't go back and rewatch them. So this design is specifically Equestria Twilight. I like the idea that Twilight from Equestria would come here seeking her crown. She'd bring all the girls together, help them discover the elements of harmony, and then down the line, after she's gone, Twi would show up at Canterlot High, the girls would befriend her, teach her about the elements of harmony, and then she would take Twilight's place. I was still aiming for a more realistic outfit choice for her, so I put Twilight in a simple outfit. While I do think she'd take the time to pick out things that she likes the look of, I also think that because she's so practical and academically driven, that she'd have a closet full of simple and easy to throw on clothes that she still feels look neat and tidy. I didn't give her any makeup, and I also made her everyday hair a little messier just because I don't think she'd be super concerned with how it looks. For all these drawings, something that I really wanted to achieve was making designs that actually tell you something about them as characters and posing them in ways that felt more natural. I think that's something that I really struggle with, or have struggled with in the past, and am trying to improve on. just kind of throwing things together because they look cool and not really for any particular reason, and just putting people in random poses. I mean, the superhero poses, they're just generic superhero poses, but for the everyday poses, I've been trying to make them more character specific. The stiffness of the old drawings is something that really bothers me when I look back at them, but being able to compare the old ones to the new ones definitely reminds me that I'm still improving, even if it's a little slower than it used to be. I feel like another thing I did much better this time is making them actually look like high schoolers. I didn't really put enough effort into that when I first redesigned them. I still think my old Twilight design is cute, and I don't dislike it. It just doesn't quite align with the vision that I have for a human Twilight now. Adding the effects for the magic at the end of these was definitely my favorite part of the whole drawing process. It just looks so fun at the end. That wraps it up for part 1. Here they all are together. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.